In this video, I'm going to show you how to install, set up, and use the Atoto CB6 wired to wireless adapter to make your Apple CarPlay in your Porsche totally wireless. And it's going to give you a total Android 13 native system, which is going to give you much more entertainment, much more apps. And by the way, if you have an Android Auto phone, this will convert that to make it totally wireless in your Porsche or any other compatible car. And now with its native Android 13 system, you can get so many more apps. You can get Netflix, you can get Prime, and you can get YouTube and watch all of those in your Porsche, and not to mention all the other apps you can download from the Google Play Store. And as an amazing bonus, you'll also get Divechat, which is an AI assistant powered by ChaptGPT, all from just this one plug-and-play module. And since I've got Apple CarPlay in my other cars, I really miss that convenience of just getting into the car and go. Whereas with this car, I have to remember to take my phone out of my pocket, plug it in, and then drive. And then, of course, the big one is remembering that when I get to my destination, before getting out of the car and locking it, that I need to also remove my phone, unplug it, and take it with me. Now, the folks at Atoto have sponsored me and were kind enough to send me the CB6 box so I could check it out in my Porsche and share the results with you. Now, this Atoto CB6 wired to wireless adapter not only works on Porsches, but a whole bunch of other cars. But we'll talk about car compatibility a little bit later. Now, this adapter supports optional internet access through Wi-Fi, Bluetooth tethering with your phone, or you can actually use a dedicated SIM card, which isn't included with the system. Now, the Atoto CB6 supports over-the-air updates, has a 12-month warranty, and online support.
So you can see here's the QR code. That's where you'll be accessing the manual. And so inside here, we've got some cables, USB-A to USB-C, if your car accepts USB-A, which I think mine does. USB-C to USB-C, and this one here is a Y cable. So if your car doesn't have enough power to operate this, then you may need to connect this to the stereo USB port, but you may also have to connect it to another USB port and plug the cable in here to add additional power to the Atoto. Now you can see this is what it looks like, very small, and so let's crack open that plastic. This is where the USB-C is going to plug in. These are the LED lights. And over here, we can it'll accept the SIM card. If you want to use a dedicated SIM card for this, you don't have to. And it also has a slot for a memory card. Let's get this hooked up into the car. The Atoto CB6 is compatible with almost any car that comes with wired or wired and wireless CarPlay as part of your factory or aftermarket stereo, but is not compatible with cars that come with only wireless CarPlay or wireless Android Auto, and is not compatible with any BMW vehicles. But some vehicles, like the 2016 to 2020 Nissan, Isuzu, and Camry, and some Volkswagen models will need to use that Y cable to get additional power to make this work. And if you're looking for more detailed written instructions, I'll put a link to the manual in the description down below. That'll give you more detail about what those LED lights are telling you and some other ways that you can customize this system as little or as much as you like for your own preference. And a little later, I'll share a couple things, well, that just aren't exactly perfect about this Atoto CB6. All right, with power on to the car, and the car in accessory mode, let's see what happens when I plug it in. So you'll plug it into the same port that you would plug in your car for a wired Android or Apple CarPlay system. And for this car, it gets plugged in the console between the seats. One thing you keep in mind is that this module will work with both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but it's initially set up for Apple CarPlay. But if you have Android Auto, once this has been powered up, then there's a little hole at the back. You can use a paper clip, push it in that hole, hold it down for 2 to 5 seconds, and it'll switch over to Android Auto. So it's going to first boot up as though it thinks that we've got Apple CarPlay, your phone plugged into Apple CarPlay. It does take a couple of minutes to get it up and running. And you can see now it's asking to connect to your phone. So you go through your connection. All right, so now we're right into Apple CarPlay as it was with the car. And you can see you've got full functionality that you had before. If you're using Spotify,
So all that works exactly the same. And you can go back to your apps. So you've got the same apps as you had when you plugged your phone directly into the car, but of course now it's totally wireless. And you can go into the main system by pressing car. So now we're into the native Android 13 system that's part of the Atoto CB6. And you can click here to check out the apps. So you can see that you've got Bluetooth phone, so that would be your phone, but you can also have phone. So if you had a SIM card that you, your own dedicated SIM card that you put into the Atoto CB6, you could actually make calls from the Atoto CB6. So you can check your messages, but again, if we go further, you can see there's Chrome, there's YouTube Music, there's YouTube. When it says Speed Play, if you click on that, that's actually taking you back to your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto if that's what your phone is. And so then we'll go back to car, we go back to this. All right. And so you can see we've got Amazon Music, we've got YouTube on here, we've got Spotify, Pandora, Find Apps, the Drive Chat, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but there's video on here. If you, on the SD card that you put, you can put into the Atoto CB6, you can put videos on there, you can put images on there, you have Prime Video here, and Netflix, Disney Plus, Waze, SoundHound, TikTok, Google, VLC, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So if we go across, if we go across here to the settings, so what you'll need to do to take advantage of all of those, you'll have to tether your phone via Bluetooth to use the internet. So if we go into Wi-Fi, and you can set up the settings here. So right now you can set it up as hotspot and tethering by using your phone as a hotspot, basically. And then you can turn that on and off. It doesn't have to be on all the time. So once you've paired it, and again, you can set it up through Bluetooth, and you can see the device name, so you know what you're searching for the pairing. And then we go back through here. And there's a whole bunch of other settings on here that you can set the date and the time. Right now it's finding that by itself. But go back and like I say, there's all kinds of settings that you can go into. You set the language, application info, more. So there's all kinds of settings in here. So the network and internet, if you wanted to use Wi-Fi. So right now I'm in the garage or the workshop in my home, so I could use our Wi-Fi here, but obviously that's no good when you're driving. And so it tells you how much storage is used. You can adjust the volume, the display, a load of settings there. And if we go back into settings, and these are the apps that you most recently used so that they're quickly available. And so you can go to display settings. And so it has this floating button here that gives you more access to things directly. You can turn that on or off. Cursor operation, launcher style, speed. You can set the speed in kilometers or miles per hour for it to display that. And split app. So you can set up the app so that it splits the screen, and so that one app is on half and half the screen, or one app is larger than the other one, etc. So we can do that. And then we can go back to settings. And what else do we have here? Other settings. So the voice assistant, you can set that up. And the boot up app. So I set it up so that when I start the car, it automatically boots up in Speed Play, which in my situation would be Apple CarPlay. So it tells you what version that we're running here, serial number, manufacturer, even tells you the manufacturer of the car that it's plugged into, and what else? Application info. So it gives you information about all the apps that are already loaded on here. All right, so let's go back to home. And so once you've tethered it, or like I say, in my case here, I use Bluetooth to tether my phone to the system, then you'll see these two buttons here. So if we push the Wi-Fi button, it'll pick up the Wi-Fi to the Bluetooth from my phone, and then we can get access to all of those apps. So you can see that. So I'll talk about that a little bit later. All right. So let's go into YouTube, for example. So we can, this is...
Now, you already know the benefits of ceramic coating for your car's paint, that it's a super hard wax-like surface.
That's me. And what else have we got on here? So Spotify, again, I set that up. Now, I know what you're thinking. Spotify is already on Apple CarPlay, and it is. But like I say, when you're into this system, you can actually use it here too. And it sounds pretty good, and it works quite well. So that's a cool feature. Once you sign in, you can use all these other apps that you have. So for example, Prime Video, I signed into that, so.
On the way to G20 on Air Force One.
Madam, Vice President and CIA Director Mickelson are standing by for your security.
And you can use the floating button. This is the floating button up here. Oh, there. And to get out of any of these or to go back to the home page. And we go here. And so Netflix, also loaded that. And again, you would just sign in with your account. Go to movies. And you can see the image is, I think, quite good. And the sound is also great. So that works well. And again, we can go to this floating button. We can just go back. And if you want to sign out of the system and stop using your phone to tether to the internet, or for internet access, I should say, then all you do is go over to Speed Play. And again, it will disconnect the car from Wi-Fi and Bluetooth through Wi-Fi, and it takes you right back to your Apple CarPlay. You can enjoy that. And then, as you can see, if you want to go back into the Android 13 system, now you can see that it's already shut off the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth access to the Wi-Fi. All right, let's check out DriveChat. So if we go to over here, DriveChat is up here. So this is AI powered by ChaptGPT. And so you can access this a number of ways. You can either press that floating button and go to the microphone, or on my car, and most cars actually, you can just press the speak button you either have on your steering wheel. Tell me a joke.
Why did the bicycle fall over? Because it was too tired.
Pretty lame, right? Or you can ask it more useful information like when you're traveling. What's the population of Charlotte, North Carolina?
The population of Charlotte, North Carolina is approximately 900,000 residents.
And you can also use it to take you into different sections of the system. So, for example, activate Apple CarPlay. And it switches off the Bluetooth tethering that was set up for the Android 13 system, and it takes us right back into Apple CarPlay. And again, if we click this button, you can see that the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth is shut off. So I've now used the Atoto CB6 for a couple of days, and I have to admit, I'm really happy with how well it works in terms of, like I say, my initial goal was just being able to have wireless access to my Apple CarPlay, and it works really well. It connects every time, and it's totally seamless. And I have to admit, I'm very pleased with how easy it was to learn that native Android 13 system. Now, am I going to use all those extra apps? Am I going to watch Netflix and Prime in my car? Am I going to watch YouTube videos in my car? Probably not, but I do have the option that if I'm stuck waiting for someone somewhere, or something like that, and I need to kill some time, I have that option available to me that I didn't before. Well, there are a couple things about the Atoto CB6 that, well, just aren't quite perfect. And I was hoping that I could keep the Atoto CB6 in the armrest at all times in my car, so it's out of the way, I don't have to worry about it. But I do see in the instructions it says not to put it into enclosed places because it could get too hot. So something I'm definitely going to have to keep an eye on. Another thing that I didn't really care for is when I was using the Bluetooth phone option in the Android 13 system, that it was kind of hard to see the numbers as I was typing them in. And we all need to keep in mind that whenever we're using that the Android 13 system tethered to your phone, you are going to be burning through some data, so that may be a concern for you. Click here for your next video featuring my Porsche 718 Spyder, and I'll see you there. Any questions or comments? Add them down below.